All right, so look, I was the one who wanted to do the podcast. I'll explain why I wanted to do it. Firstly, it's because we're building a brand that more people need to know about. But secondly, I told G this just now in the car. You're basically like a silent partner. You're kind of like this guy like in the shadows that no one really knows about, but you've been helping us a ton in the background. Not just legal stuff, but just like being an extra voice for us, someone a helping hand. Even just this week, bro, like just a helping hand on everything. Not saying a word, not asking for anything, just doing things without even telling me and you. And I want to like make sure that we shine a light on you as well, because like as we're building this, is not like I said, obviously like it's not just about me and you, it's like something bigger than us. And you're one of the partners. So I want to kind of give the mic to you first. If you want to say something first, we can. But it's just, who are you, bro?
Darsh Patel, Huntington, Long Island, New York.
007.
Yeah, no. So that was just on some of this recently, but they were asking me like, is law school worth going to? And I had to think about it for a bit. And I was like, most people go to law school to get that big firm job, the big money job, or they go the opposite route and want to help out the poor, underprivileged, whatever it is, or work for the government if you're a narc. But I think the real value in law school is actually just this, where every human endeavor kind of has like a legal background or legal implications, where especially creative in business, where if you're doing something cool and somebody wants to steal it, or if the government needs registration or anything like that, there's so much that goes into making an idea a reality. And I have the credentials and the background to kind of be on the execution side, where I got a lot of cool friends. I'm doing cool things that have great ideas. Now we got to execute those ideas. So I just want to be there to be that execution to bring those ideas to life. So yeah, whether it's running errands, help the team out, or whether it's filing for nonprofit status with the IRS, like here to execute. So that's who I am. That's why I'm here.
I mean, everyone sees the fact that this is a global basketball team of South Asian or Desi heritage. How does anyone think people from Australia or India or Canada get to the US? It's like a lot of work with legal immigration,
Visas.
Like that's a crazy game. Like it's not easy.
It's not easy. I think it's underestimated like how much time and effort that takes, and also like money. If you are not lucky enough like us to have someone in our corner to do that for us, right? Those types of things we'd probably be totally screwed right now if we didn't have like a resource like you.
We would have been one of the teams that pulled out day before because we'd just be bankrupt.
We'd just be completely bankrupt.
Yeah, those legal fees add up. That's why it's nice to have. I know it's a big concern for most people generally. It's I don't want to deal with the government or deal with filing fees, and nor should you. People are creative. They want to do something that actually will impact the earth, not tell the government what they're doing. So that's where I come in and just like, you know what, you guys keep doing your thing. I'll take care of the rest, and we'll build something beautiful together.
So I have a question just off top, is because obviously day to day it's full time. It's basically it's us running it, content, the teams, all that kind of stuff. I'm always curious, like as you're like seeing everything happen on Slack or Twitter, IG, you're seeing everything from afar, right? Like what are you seeing from the brand? I guess just from when we started to where it's come now.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we all have the same end target in mind, which is just raise the light awareness on Indian athletes. So obviously, all the content stuff will build to that and keep illuminating that we're out here essentially. So it's been great since we started. We had that end goal in mind, so everything kind of builds to that. So obviously, India Rising team building it together. G did a great job actually getting professional coaches this year. We got the best of talent. We're going to get even better talent in the future, knowing now that we have a proper organization. It's not just a pickup game. We're here. We're a legitimate basketball team. We're Indian. So it's one of those where it's like all these things we kind of keep building. And from afar, from New York, watching you guys do it in Canada and wherever the fuck G goes in his life, wherever he's posted up for the most recent time. It's just amazing to see. Like that's why I wanted it when I first met you guys, and I brought up to you guys like, hey, I'll take care of all the other bullshit if you guys like let me in here. And you guys were like, yeah, for sure. That's why I did it, because I see what you guys are building. And yeah, it's only been a year now.
Yeah.
And from where we were a year ago to now, it just leaves some balance in terms of followers, content, the team. So as this keeps going, I just want to see it grow more, get more momentum, build that snowball effect, and take it to the top, win that $1 million, build that brand with 1 million followers. But yeah, it's just the early days, and it's exciting to see.
I think like I lost my train of thought for a second, but I was just thinking about like the small things. So as partners or entrepreneurs, right? It's also, I think we talked about, it's like first time really building a business and brand, right? Things get crazy sometimes. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's always like nice to have like people who like understand the role. Like you just really get the role, like how to help us and how to assist us, sometimes without us even asking.
Yeah.
Or like doing those, you know what I mean? Doing those small things that, like, if it was me and you doing it, we'd probably be like super stressed about it, trying to figure it out. But you just like always step in and just like do it. Send you an email, ask you, yo, we need this contract or whatever. I'm sure you're asking him stuff all the time
Right,
too with
right.
visa and stuff. And it's always like, here it is, here it is, here it is. And I just want you to know we appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm not trying to hold anything up. I want to keep this thing going. That's why
Yep.
you guys are doing the heavy lifting. I'm just doing the work with the people that need us to report to them, kind of thing. So let me deal with them. You guys build a brand. So that's why I think it's a great partnership, and I think we're on the right track here. So
When you see the brand posting stories on different athletes, just everything we're posting on social media, whether it's YouTube, whether it's the athlete features we're doing outside of basketball, I don't think it's something we've ever actually asked, or we've all three have maybe talked about, maybe a little bit
Yeah.
today. But like when you see the platform and where it's going, like what would you envision? Like if roles had flipped, let's say me and G are just doing what you're doing, and this is actually your brand. I'm curious, like what your thoughts are on like where you'd see things going, or is it the same way we're taking it now?
this is the route, yeah, where it's like I don't even know that half these people exist. I don't know if Varun Ram got the game-winning fucking steal in an NCAA second round tournament game for Maryland, playing 20 minutes all year.
Yeah.
Like these are like stories that need to be told.
Yeah.
So it's like the only way to tell them is if somebody tells them. So it's like this is the platform to do it. So I wouldn't do it necessarily any differently. It's just more of keep it going, keep trying to get these stories out so people are inspired, next generation is inspired. I'm inspired. I'm a 34-year-old man and I'm here showing up today in Ohio to hang out with like 26-year-old basketball players. So if I'm inspired, I'm sure my son will be inspired in a few years when he realizes what's going on, or the kids, the teenagers right now who are hooping in Canada and in the US who are Indian will be inspired by this team tomorrow night. So just that's like that whole, that's what we're here for. And it's, you feel the energy here where it's like, these cats look just like me and they're balling out. They can beat the University of Dayton and Dayton. They can ball with Syracuse. Like, that's a cool feeling. So
where did you pick up basketball?
Basketball was my first sport that I played. The Knicks were my first love. That John Starks dunk over Jordan in that 94 playoff series was my first sports memory. So I'm kind of over the Knicks now, but I still love basketball.
Why are you over the Knicks?
Why not? Why wouldn't I?
We should talk about this.
I think everybody's over the Knicks. Let's just be honest with it.
Let's just talk about this.
After Carmelo and Amari, that 2013, right after the Jeremy Lin saga, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I think around then was like, you know what? I think I'm over it.
What's your hot take on what fixes the Knicks?
I don't know if there's a hot take on fixing the Knicks. I think signing people like Jalen Brunson's a good start. Not signing people like the Amari Stoudemires or the Tracy McGrady's or Steve Francis of the world that we signed in the past. So I think the management structure is in place. But I'm not worried about the Knicks. Fuck the Knicks. Next topic, please.
I'll switch it up for you. So something that's on your shirt right now, it's actually one of our sponsors this year.
Yeah.
And they were our biggest sponsor last year is Extra Butter out of New York and now other locations as well. Can you just give context? People won't know the affiliation between you and them. Can you talk about Extra Butter and your affiliation with it?
For sure. So Extra Butter is actually my family's business. It's my dad's two cousins. So the full background is they came to the U.S. when they were kids. Their dad worked for a sneaker shop on Queens Boulevard called Sneaker Circle. It was owned by a Punjabi guy. After a couple of years, they bought it from that Punjabi guy. After a couple more years, they bought a place out on Long Island called Renarts, which is actually still in business today. We actually opened up a Jackson Heights Renarts location last year, which is a full circle story because when they came to the U.S., they landed in Jackson Heights, Queens. Now they have their sneaker store in Jackson Heights. An even more full circle story is our Extra Butter, which we created in 2007. Off those Renarts vendor relationships, we knew the Nikes and Adidas of the world, saw that it was going towards this hype world in 2007, 2008. So in 2007, we created Extra Butter based on the whole, movies first. So my uncle, who came up with the name, the CEO, Unker, I'm a creative director, Bernie, trying to think of the name, brainstorming, like what's authentic to us? What can we add to this industry? What can we do authentically? They're like, we love movies. We're in New York, blah, blah, blah. Butter, they landed on butter because butter is a New York slang. It's the 70s, 80s slang for being cool. Butter, extra butter on your popcorn. That was it. They're like, oh man, Extra Butter is fucking perfect. So that's where the name came from. So now we got a store in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, Long Island City, Queens, and actually opening up Mumbai in August,
which is huge.
So that's going to be the next frontier. Yeah, apparently it's the biggest emerging middle class. You got the Gully Boy movies of the world the last couple of years. So like the whole sneaker culture and hip hop culture in India it's there. They're maybe a year and a half behind us, but they're fully basically caught up because global world, Instagram, etc. So we're excited to see how that market responds to the Jordans of the world, but it looks promising. So we're excited.
I'm curious your thoughts because I know you know that world really well over in India as well. When a sneaker store like this heads over there, I would assume no one really knows there's a new brand stepping in. Like, how does that work? Where people are gonna take to that type of thing, or
Oh, for
there's
sure.
just brands like non-veg and stuff. They're just like we're loyal to that.
No, I mean, like, sneaker culture is really strong in India. I went to high school in India.
Yep.
Like, there's a really annoying idea of like, if you wear like white Air Force Ones, it's like you can't because it gets dusty and dirty. Like, no, people like sneakers just like they do anywhere else in the world. And I remember, for what it's worth, like one of the hardest things about sneaker culture in India was getting stuff in your size. That was the real issue. The tastemakers and like the quality like is there, but it's just like finding the right fits. So like some of the coolest, I'm blanking on the name, but there's like some really good like sneaker festivals out in South Asia too.
So the culture there
The
is
culture
big.
is rich,
Yeah,
like super
it's
rich.
huge out there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of their fashion culture, at least currently, is it's obviously copycat because like obviously the West drives, Japan even drives
Yeah.
kind of that streetwear world. But in terms of like ability to kind of carve the culture, India's fully there. They have all the artists in the world, all
Yeah.
the skaters,
Right.
athletes, as we know. So it's one of those where now we think we can almost authentically drive the culture with EB rather
Totally.
than just kind of follow and sell product that's already big. We can almost create with Indian artists and Indian athletes and make it authentically an Indian thing, an Indian Stan Smith or whatever that next athlete is
right.
or artist is. So that's kind of where we're thinking we can definitely add value. So Mumbai 2023, let's see how it goes.
I was about to say, like, there's a lot of tastemakers out there, and not everyone's wearing pandas. But then I was looking at what we got here,
Sounds
and
crazy,
I
bro.
didn't want to. I know that's the thing. I was like, that's just like a side.
was
I didn't mean it like
Yo,
that.
the shade is
It's a
crazy.
dumb
I didn't mean it.
coming
I
at me,
didn't
bro.
mean it like that.
Yo, look at this
Not
guy's
everyone's
look at
wearing
this man's
pandas.
sneakers and he's calling me out. That's crazy.
Okay, we should take a moment and be like, my sneaker game is
You
so
say this
strong.
every time I see you, bro.
What? I'm hard at work. This is like a worker
Yeah, I'm gonna
man's
tell you guys a
shoes.
story. Let me stop talking. Hold on. Every time I've seen this guy, I've probably seen him in the last couple of years, like whatever, 10, 12 times, right? In person. Every time I see him, he's like, bro. My sneaker game is tough, man.
Why?
And he's always wearing the
Why am I
same
saying it like
sneakers.
that?
accent.
Yeah.
When did
He's
he
always
become our
wearing the
dad?
same sneakers. He's like, yo, I got pairs, don't worry.
That Nike store discount too. He's like, look at these rare kicks I got.
That's good. It's a good reminder. I have Jordan 11s in
Yo,
the
you've been
room.
saying-
We're
you've been
roommates.
saying this.
We're roommates.
If
I
you
have
don't wear
Jordan
it
11s
tomorrow,
there.
I'm gonna
I'll
be
wear them
pissed
tomorrow.
off.
I'll wear them
Okay.
to the game. I'm not, these are done. These are from the Nike employee store. Does that make it better?
It does
It
make
does make it better.
Wait,
They're
what's
a
the
little-
Nike
people have
employee store?
access
That's
to
Yeah,
like
that.
they're a
a,
little dirty, but I get it.
that's
I
like a
get it.
special store.
Yeah. We had the
Very
opportunity.
special.
Brown Ballers had the opportunity to, during Asian Heritage Month,
Oh, when you went out, yeah,
talk
okay,
about
yeah.
our work at Nike HQ in Portland.
What do they hold there? Just like general release dunks and stuff? They have any Travis Scotts or what's their deal?
They got some nice stuff. They've got like maybe the Travis Scott colorway you're not looking for, but they have it there for the discounts. We're just burning potential sponsorship opportunities on
Yeah.
this pod, right? We should probably chill
We
out.
should probably chill out. So look, it's been a crazy couple of days. It's been a lot of fun. We're here for India Rising, obviously. This is your first time technically coming out to it. Like, how's it been for
Yeah,
you?
because you worked on it, but you haven't seen it. Now you're
Yeah.
in. Now you're on it.
This is a dream come true, honestly. That's why
This
yeah, I've
Disneyland.
been like calling back to my wife, like, oh man, I caught like rebounded for Sarju Patel. She's like, what the fuck?
Who the
What are you
fuck?
talking-
Who's
She's
that?
like 23 years old. I'm like, no, you
That's
don't even
crazy.
understand. I played the rebound games since I was like 14, and I'm doing it for these cats. Like this Ivy League captain and Banky from Australia. I'm playing like carom with them and shit. So it's amazing. So honestly, like, you need this kind of stuff to build a successful team and a successful franchise organization. So for G to kind of set this whole, we had dinner at the Masala Man's house last night, his boy who
Yeah,
lives
that was crazy.
locally in Dayton. So it's one of those where it's like you need to kind of build that family, build that community, even though we all have obviously in common that we're all Indian. It's one of those like, you still got to build it. We're still people kind of thing. So to build the last 5 days has been amazing. I got to know you guys a lot better than I knew you obviously before Friday. So it's one of
Yeah.
those where it's like, yeah, it's cool to build that stuff on the internet and like it's nice to see it in pictures, but to physically be there and actually like dap your guys up, and now you know everybody by name. And it's like it's awesome. So it's been a great experience. I'm not missing any more in the future either. So
that's the big takeaway I feel like for anyone listening in is like, if you're listening to this, you probably know what we're working on.
Mhm.
Chances are though, like how many people have been to one of the live events we put on?
Right. Small,
Like-
very small.
even just to know the names of like the guys, like obviously I'm been following the past year, but it's like you see him on TV and you kind of remember a last name or a number.
Right.
But obviously when you talk to him every day, it's all right. This is my boy now. I got his number on my phone. Like
Yeah.
we're real
Yeah.
people now. It's
That
like
personal
super,
connection
but
is so
for sure.
different and important.
So like if we're an org that's working on like cultural change, at the end of the day, IG is cool, but like you kind of have to be around it and like
Yep.
come to the live events. So, and we talked all about this last night. Like, obviously, playing for $1 million on ESPN is cool, but that's not the only thing we're doing. Like, we're already hard at work to figure out like what are the other live events we want to put on for the second half of 2023, all over North America and India. So just stay tuned. Honestly, I feel like that's where we want to kind of
Yep.
push people towards. Like, it's kind of like annoying how we spend so much time on social and like we try and live things through like reels. It's just like you got to come to live events to really understand.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where I see the brand going to. It's almost we build that community. We build the Gurbas that people go to every year. It's like
No,
now
for real,
it's a basketball event or whatever it is. So it's like we're kind of building that community, and you see it in this kind of training camp environment where it's like, yeah, they got their personal beefs, and everyone's got their egos and agendas, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, we got a bigger mission, and you see people come together for that. So it's cool.
Let me ask you this last question here. If you have one, feel free to go away. It's 2023. So by 2025, what do you want? What do you think? Like, where do you think we'll be? What do you want to see? Like in 2 years from now, what would you like to see from our growth or from the pillars or from maybe starting something new within the brand?
I want at least the Indian diaspora in the US, Canada, Europe kind of know what Brown Ballers is. Maybe we're at 100,000, 150,000 followers, but people can just reference, all right, this is Brown Ballers. They're the Indian athlete platform. Like if there's anyone coming up in the ranks, number one golfer in the world, whatever it is, go to Brown Ballers first. It's like the bar stool for bro sports.
Exactly.
This is going to be the Indian equivalent for Indian athletes. That's why I just keep illuminating these stories. I think that's where we'll get to, because people can relate to the stories. Obviously, like when people hear of it, finally they're like, oh shit, somebody's highlighting that. I had no idea that's what happened. Now I'm going to follow Brown Ballers and see where they go. So yeah.
That's amazing, man. Well, unless you have another question,
That's it.
this is another episode of the Brown Ballers podcast. You may not see Darsh for another 1 or 2 years. Who knows? But he's
You'll see me on
working
the
with us. He's working with us behind the scenes. And when he comes on, you know it's meaningful. It's thoughtful.
I'll keep my mouth shut. No liability.
It's not just me and G building, man. We got a whole team behind us. A lot of people helping us do what we got to do. Until next time, we'll see y'all soon.